In the whole world of artificial intelligence, it really comes down to just a handful of companies making the critical parts that make it all happen. And right now, one of those companies is staring down what just about everyone is calling the ultimate test. Not just for them, but for the entire AI boom.
So here's the multi-billion-dollar question that's on every single investor's mind. Is this crazy demand for AI memory the real deal, a sustainable supercycle, or are we just riding the peak of another classic, volatile tech wave?
And that, my friends, is where Micron Technology enters the picture. Their next earnings report, it's not just a report card for one company. Nope. The market is looking at it as a massive litmus test for the health of the entire AI hardware space. Okay, let's really get into this.
First up, let's dig into the bull case. Why are expectations just so sky high? Well, the story of Micron over the last year has been, nothing short of incredible, really. It's all built on a series of absolutely record-shattering numbers.
Let's just start with the big one, $37.4 billion. That's what Micron pulled in for revenue in fiscal year 2025. That's a company record, and it screams momentum.
So how on earth did they get there? Try this on for size. 49% year-over-year revenue growth, a nearly 50% jump in 1 year. For a company this big, that's just wild.
But here's where it gets really interesting, where that growth is actually coming from. Revenue from their stuff designed specifically for AI servers, it didn't just grow, it went up by 5 times, a 5x increase from the year before. If you want to see the AI boom in a single number, that's it right there.
And look, this isn't just hype from Wall Street analysts. This confidence is coming straight from the top. The company's own CEO, Sanjay Mehrotra, laid it out pretty clearly. He sees Micron as one of the biggest winners in this whole AI revolution. Now, you can't just make a statement like that without the numbers to back it up, and believe me, they have them. This success is across the board. We're talking record revenue, record margins. Their data center business now makes up more than half of all their sales. They're even snatching up market share and telling Wall Street to expect great things next quarter. So what's the engine behind all these incredible numbers? See, all this financial success, it's really built on a foundation of some very, very specific tech. To really get the bull case, you have to understand the hardware that everybody wants to get their hands on.
It all comes down to this stuff, high bandwidth memory, or HBM. Think about it. These huge AI models, they learn by crunching enormous amounts of data all at the same time. They need to access it all right now. So if your normal computer memory is like a garden hose, HBM is like a fire hose. It just floods the AI chips with all the data they could possibly need at insane speeds.
And this is precisely where Micron's advantage comes into sharp focus. They're not just lucky. Their lead is built on being better at making this stuff. They're shipping top-of-the-line HBM that uses less power, they were the very first to get the next generation of DRAM out the door, and they're working hand-in-glove with giants like NVIDIA to pioneer what comes next.
Okay, so that's the bull case, and you have to admit, it's pretty compelling. But as any smart investor knows, there is always another side to the story. So let's flip the coin and look at the major risks, the bear case.
And honestly, there's no better place to start than with this quote, because it doesn't come from a critic or a short seller or a competitor. It comes directly from Micron's own official, legally required risk filings with the government. They are telling you loud and clear about the biggest challenge in their entire industry.
And this chart right here shows you exactly what that volatility looks like in the real world. Just look at this. In the last 5 years, prices for their core products have swung from being up more than 40% in 1 year to being down more than 40% in another. This market is famous for massive booms and equally massive busts.
So if you kind of zoom out, the main threats to Micron really fall into 3 big buckets. First, the competition is absolutely ferocious. We're talking giants like Samsung and SK Hynix. Second, as we just saw, is that extreme price volatility. And then there's the third one, a factor that's become impossible for any company like this to ignore, geopolitics.
And this slide really shows you the geopolitical tightrope that Micron is forced to walk every single day. On one hand, a huge majority of their most advanced memory production, it's located in Taiwan, an area of, let's say, growing tension. At the exact same time, regulators in mainland China have literally blocked their products from being sold into huge parts of that market. So any little flare-up on either side of that equation could seriously hurt their ability to both make and sell their stuff.
So there you have it. You've got this absolutely phenomenal AI-powered growth story running headfirst into a wall of very serious, very real risks. And that's the collision right there that makes this upcoming earnings report so darn important. It's the verdict.
So go ahead and circle this on your calendar. Wednesday, December 17th, right after the closing bell. That's when we get the results that could either pour rocket fuel on the AI supercycle story or give the bears a whole lot more ammunition. And when that report drops, here are the numbers Wall Street is going to be obsessed with. The company itself guided for earnings per share of about $3.75. But the analysts on Wall Street, they expect more, around $3.93. And then you have what's called the whisper number. That's the unofficial target the really big traders are hoping for, and that's at $4, or maybe even higher. So the bar for success isn't just high, it literally keeps getting raised. So it all comes down to this one question. Can the incredible momentum from the AI boom overpower everything else? The intense competition, the historical volatility, the geopolitical minefield? On December 17th, we're going to get our next huge clue as to whether Micron can pass its ultimate test, or if that wall of worry is just going to prove too high to climb.